Hey boys and girls, it's Miss Steindorf. I hope that you're having a wonderful Tuesday. And it is Tuesday, which means it's time for me to read a story. Remember, on Mondays we will do Zoom at 10 o'clock. Tuesdays I will read a story, and it might be a bedtime story or in the middle of the day. And then on Wednesdays we will Zoom again at 10 o'clock. And Thursdays, I will have another story for you to listen to on YouTube. And Friday can be a day that you choose what you want to do at home. It could be to catch up on any work that you have, or maybe it's just get outside and play with sidewalk chalk and maybe write some sight words with sidewalk chalk. You can get creative and still learn while you're at home. Well, the story that you're going to listen to today is called The Kissing Hand. And you may have remembered Miss Steindorf has already read this at the beginning of the year, but I wanted to read it again and have kind of a different meaning. Instead of us being afraid to go to school like you were at the beginning of the year, right now, we might need a little bit of love and encouragement from our friends. And when we meet on Zoom on Mondays and Wednesdays, we get that encouragement from each other because we're not at school anymore, we're at home. So think about that while you listen to the story, The Kissing Hand. Written by Audrey Penn, she wrote the words. The Kissing Hand. Chester Raccoon stood at the edge of the forest and cried. "I don't want to go to school," he told his mother. "I want to stay home with you. I want to play with my friends and play with my toys and read my books and swing on my swing. Please, may I stay home with you?" Mrs. Raccoon took Chester by the hand and nuzzled him on the ear. "Sometimes we all have to do things we don't want to do," she told him gently, "even if they seem strange and scary at first. But you will love school once you start. You'll make new friends and play with new toys, read new books and swing on new swings. Besides," she added, "I know a wonderful secret that will make your nights at school seem as warm and cozy as your days at home." So we learn here that raccoons go to school at night and stay home during the day. That's the opposite. We go to school, well, now we stay at home during the day, and we go to bed at night. Chester wiped away his tears and looked interested. "A secret? What kind of secret?" "A very old secret," said Mrs. Raccoon. "I learned it from my mother, and she learned it from hers. It's called the kissing hand." "The kissing hand?" asked Chester. "What is that?" And you may remember what that is. "I'll show you." Mrs. Raccoon took Chester's left hand and spread open his tiny fingers into a fan. Leaning forward, she kissed Chester right in the middle of his palm. Chester felt his mother's kiss rush from his hand, up his arm, into his heart. Even his silky black mask tingled with a special warmth. Mrs. Raccoon smiled. "Now," she told Chester, "whenever you feel lonely and need a little loving from home, just press your hand to your cheek and think, 'Mommy loves you, Mommy loves you.' And that very kiss will jump to your face and fill you with toasty warm thoughts." She took Chester's hand and carefully wrapped his fingers around the kiss. "Now do be careful not to lose it," she teased him. "But don't worry. When you open your hand and wash your food, I promise the kiss will come back." Chester loved his kissing hand. Now he knew his mother's love would go with him wherever he went, even to school. That night, Chester stood in front of his school and looked thoughtful. Suddenly, he turned to his mother and grinned. "Give me your hand," he told her. Chester took his mother's hand in his own and unfolded her large, familiar fingers into a fan. Next, he leaned forward and kissed the center of her hand. "Now you have a kissing hand too," he told her, and with a gentle goodbye and "I love you," Chester turned and danced away. Mrs. Raccoon watched Chester scamper across a tree limb and enter school, and as the hoot owl rang in the new school year, she pressed her left hand to her cheek and smiled. The warmth of Chester's kiss filled her heart with special words. "Chester loves you," it sang. "Chester loves you." The end. Now, boys and girls, I love you. I want you to remember that. While you're at home right now, you might not be feeling sad about missing home because you're not at school. This story talks about being at school and how sometimes we miss mom when we're at school. But you get to see your mom every day. How lucky are you that you get to stay at home and you get to be with your mom? Maybe you need a little kissing hand from your mom today. If you're feeling discouraged about not being able to go anywhere, not being able to go to the store or go out to eat or go to school or go to your practice games for any sports that you have, maybe go ask your mom and say, "Mom, I need a kissing hand from you today." And I'm sure that your mom would love to give you that. You could also imagine Miss Steindorf being that kissing hand for you. And always remember that when you put your hand to your cheek, on this cheek, it could be your mom's kissing hand, but on the other cheek, you also have Miss Steindorf. And I love you, and I hope that you sleep well and have a good night. Bye.